Welcome everyone, it's the Crypto Lark and I am very excited and honored to have on Roger Ver from Bitcoin Cash. Roger, how's it going?
Great. So I actually like to be referred to as being from Bitcoin.com, and people love to say that I'm, synonymous with Bitcoin Cash, and maybe there's some truth to that. But I'd like to be known as being synonymous with any cryptocurrency that works to bring more economic freedom to the world, because that's why I got involved from day one. Is because I want to bring more economic freedom to the entire world. And the reason I love Bitcoin Cash so much today is because I think it's the cryptocurrency with the best ability to bring the most economic freedom to the world. But I love anything that works, and I hold a wide variety of cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin Cash is just one of many.
There you go. There you go. Now, Roger and I have just had part one. This is actually kind of part two of the interview. So we actually talked about 10 ways that blockchain can help the world. Blockchain and cryptocurrency, of course. Now, that is over on the bitcoin.com channel. So go ahead over there and check that out. There'll be a link down below to that. But we're going to be talking about Bitcoin Cash today, and really just some of the updates around Bitcoin Cash, but as well as some of the things that have gone on around the fork and whatnot. So we're going to be diving into all of that stuff. Now, Roger, I wanted to start this off with, I guess, kind of a short, preface to the audience, because there's so much tribalism and toxicity in the community at the moment, and it's nothing but a net negative for the entire cryptocurrency community. We're so small. We all need to be working together to bring the future of finance to the world. And I know that there's people that are already downvoting this video simply because you're on here. And I think that's really, really unfortunate, because the reality is that this is a marketplace of ideas. These are the crypto markets. Technological implementations need to win over tribalism. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about technology, and we're talking about these very important things. So I guess my first kind of question to you, Roger, would be, how do we heal our broken community?
I think your opening monologue there was exactly right. So this shouldn't be about tribalism. This should be about building tools that work and improve the lives of people. So if something's useful, people are going to use it, and you shouldn't hate on it regardless of where it comes from. If it's useful, use it. If it's not, don't. And there's lots and lots of fantastic cryptocurrencies that are incredibly useful out there. And if they're useful, I invite people to use them. And one website that I've been promoting for a couple of years now, because I think it's so incredibly useful, is purse.io. If you haven't used this website before, it's amazing. You can get 25% off every single purchase at Amazon by using Bitcoin Cash over at purse.io. Like 25% off at Amazon. That's useful. Like, there's not a single person I know that doesn't like saving money. So if you like to save money, Bitcoin Cash plus purse.io is a fantastic tool to do it. And if it's useful, use it. And the same applies to like traditional financial systems. The reason people use PayPal is because it's useful to them. The reason people use Bank of America is because it's useful to them. So our job as cryptocurrency enthusiasts are to build tools that are even more useful than Bank of America, even more useful than PayPal, even more useful than Visa. And if we build the tools that are even more useful than these things, people are going to stop using those other things, and they're going to start using these new tools that we've built that are more useful. But a bunch of shouting and name calling and tribalism on the internet doesn't get things done. It doesn't build useful tools. So the thing we should all be focusing on is building useful tools. And love it or hate it for ignorant reasons, Bitcoin Cash is incredibly useful. It's fast, cheap, and reliable for payments around the world. And there's lots of other cryptocurrencies that are too. Like, if it's useful, use it, regardless of what the name of that cryptocurrency is. So
That's it. If it's useful, use it. And I've used Bitcoin Cash a few times. I think it was it the chicken guy? Was it feeding chickens?
yeah, chickens. The website is chickens.cash. And I'm a little bit
That's right.
embarrassed just by how much time and money I've spent watching those chickens and sending them money on the internet. But it's an amazing example of how you can send Bitcoin Cash. And I'm not even sure where that guy is. Like, I think maybe Idaho or Canada, or it looks somewhere cold. There's snow on the ground, but you can literally feed chickens on a live stream using Bitcoin Cash. So
It's
I
strangely
don't know.
addictively fun. It's really weird.
Exactly. It's you wouldn't think feeding chickens over the internet would be so much fun, but it really is. So if you haven't tried it, try it today. Chickens.cash.
Now, using the Bitcoin Cash, it's a great experience. It's quick, it's easy, it's cheap to send, right? But I want to just tell you a little bit about my, I guess, Bitcoin Cash experience, Roger, because I feel like there's probably a lot of people in the community who have gone through a kind of similar thing. Back when the initial fork happened from, BTC and then BCH was created, I was very open to Bitcoin Cash. I was like, Bitcoin Cash, ooh, that's interesting. We have new technology competing in the marketplace. Let's see what they can do, right? And then basically, there was the normalization of Craig Wright, and that's where but that was it for me. I was like, I Bitcoin Cash. I can't continue to support this, knowing that this guy is out there as a thought leader in Bitcoin Cash or whatever you might want to have called him. But do you think that was perhaps one of the biggest mistakes that the team at Bitcoin Cash made, was kind of inviting Craig into the fold?
I think that's kind of falling into the tribalism there. Bitcoin Cash is fast, cheap, and reliable, regardless of if Craig Wright or Charles Manson is involved in it. It's the usefulness of the actual cryptocurrency itself that should count. And so, like, is Craig Wright a jerk? Yeah, I think he's a jerk. But lots of really smart people can be jerks. I'm sure I've been a jerk to. I know it's on video. I gave a guy a middle finger on YouTube one time. I think he was being a jerk to me too, but that doesn't mean I should have given him the middle finger. And so people can be jerks. That's the world we live in. There's plenty of jerks in the world, but that doesn't. I'm sure Steve Jobs has been a jerk to people plenty of times.
I think he was famously a jerk to people.
Yeah, my iPhone is still an amazing piece of technology, and I don't stop using my iPhone because Steve Jobs was a jerk to people. It's the technology itself. So if Craig Wright was a jerk to everybody in the entire world, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin Cash isn't useful as money for the entire world. And the same is true with these other cryptocurrencies. Like they all have communities within them. They all have awesome people within them, and they all have jerks within them. That doesn't change the underlying usefulness of the cryptocurrency itself. So I guess my advice is don't fall into the tribalism of, oh, this guy likes that cryptocurrency, so I don't like the cryptocurrency. If it's useful, use it, right? So Look at how many bad people do bad things with dollars, but the dollar is still incredibly useful. And so more people are using dollars around the world than any other currency.
That's true.
It's because the dollar is useful.
That's true. And if you look at who represents the dollar, you definitely have
mass murderers, right?
Yeah, mass murderers and war criminals. It's crazy. Well, that's like I said, that was kind of how it was for me, because you look at, there's lots of cryptocurrencies that do this, and so I feel like there was a point where people in the community did feel that going on, and it is to an extent tribalism, and I don't like tribalism, but I guess we're all human and fallible to these points. Now, I want to bring up this next thing because this is something we've seen recently happen with Ethereum Classic in particular. They were not the dominant cryptocurrency on their algorithm. Right now, Bitcoin Cash is not the dominant cryptocurrency on the SHA-256 algorithm. Do you worry that this makes Bitcoin Cash insecure?
It's still plenty secure enough for whatever anyone wants to do with it. And I guess that kind of ties into, there's a rolling 10 block checkpoint as well. So there's never going to be a reorg of more than 10 blocks on Bitcoin Cash. And, I use Bitcoin Cash every single day to do payments all over the world. Sent 50 grand worth of Bitcoin Cash to Australia yesterday is one of the examples of those payments. Like, less than a penny to do it. He got it instantly. Like, everybody's happy. Now it's worth more today than it was yesterday when I sent it to him. So I think everybody's pretty happy on that front. So, is there less, hash power securing the Bitcoin Cash network than the BTC network? Yeah, of course that's true. But there's more Bitcoin hash rate securing the Bitcoin Cash network today than there was securing the BTC network, I don't know, a year or two ago.
True.
And, Bitcoin was still plenty secure a couple of years ago. Well, Bitcoin Cash is plenty secure today. And I don't know of anybody that's had any sort of problems with that due to a lack of hash rate on Bitcoin Cash. So I'm not worried about it. And the market doesn't seem to be either.
I think when it comes down to it, there's a lot of misinformation, misconceptions about, the idea of security of the blockchains. And even though, BTC does have a lot more hash power at the moment, that doesn't necessarily mean that, BCH is inherently insecure or anything like that. I guess I kind of look at it and I see what happened with like Ethereum Classic, for example, and it was more of a really bad PR event for them more than anything, because you know how the crypto media spins it. They're under attack. This blockchain is not secure anymore, right? Whereas the
media loving to spin things to sound more dramatic and like a bigger problem than it actually is. Imagine that. I'm shocked.
Now, the market currently, right? So the technological implementations of Bitcoin Cash are very interesting. We're going to dive into a lot of those, but right now, the market is choosing BTC over BCH, and we see the daily transaction volume, for example. We have around 10,000 daily transactions for BCH versus, 300,000 for BTC. I mean, Dogecoin's doing 20,000. How do you get people to start using BCH more? What's the I guess, the pitch to people to say, hey, stop using BTC or Dogecoin and come over here and start using BCH?
I think we have to build the tools that make it more useful than the competitors. So we want to make Bitcoin Cash, and I already think it is to a large extent. It's certainly more useful than the dollar in many areas, and the yen and the euro and everything else. And it's fast, cheap, and reliable. We have to build things that are more useful than the competitors. And more people still use the dollar than BTC today. But I think that that's going to change over time, and I think the same is going to change over time between BCH and BTC and these other things. But if it's useful, use it, and if it's not, then don't. And I'm just fine with that. And if something, I'm sure a better iPhone is going to come along than this one that I have in my hand here. I'm not going to say no, but this is my one and only iPhone. I'm going to use it forever. I'm going to use whatever's useful. If something better comes along next year, I'll gladly use it. And you can argue back and forth whether or not, Bitcoin Cash is the original Bitcoin or not. And that whole argument aside, let's say I can see that and say Bitcoin Cash is a totally separate coin. So what? If it's more useful than the original, BTC isn't valuable because it's BTC. It's valuable because it provides, a useful tool for people to use in commerce. And if it doesn't provide that tool, people are going to use something else. And I think Bitcoin Cash does a better job of providing people with the tools they need to use in commerce than BTC does. So I think in the future, as time goes by, as more and more people realize that, despite the tribalism and the name calling on the internet, I think we'll see more and more uptake of Bitcoin Cash. And in fact, I talked on the other video on the Bitcoin.com channel. I just announced publicly that I'm now the advisor for a company called Liven out of Australia, with more than 20,000 restaurant venues on their platform. And they're going to be integrating cryptocurrency into their platform there as well. And again, if it's useful, people are going to use it. If it's not, they're not. So at the end of the day, if it's useful, use it. Calling a bunch of names of things that are useful doesn't change the fact that they're useful. And saying a bunch of good things about something that's not useful doesn't make it more useful.
Exactly.
Focus on the fundamentals. So.
That's right. The technology will speak for itself in the long run. And obviously brand recognition, all these things are really important as well. And I guess the fundamentals of, Bitcoin Cash and the idea of, having bigger blocks and stuff like this is, in really stark contrast to, BTC and the much smaller blocks, and obviously now the Lightning Network is coming on as a second layer versus on-chain scaling with Bitcoin Cash. But my question would be, are you worried that the blocks are going to get too big over time? If we are, right now it's not such an issue because there's not a massive amount of data being written into any given block. But that will change over time as we do see more merchant adoptions. We do see more people using Bitcoin Cash. The blocks will, of course, become bigger. Do you worry that there will be just too much blockchain bloat after 20 years of running the Bitcoin Cash blockchain? And if we're running, 30 MB blocks, for example, on a regular basis?
No, I don't worry about that at all any more than I worry about, the price of, the price of coffee is going to get too high as people buy more and more coffee. There's not going to be enough coffee to go around. But prices dictate in the market what goods should be used to produce what other things. So if there becomes a huge market for people buying block space in the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, then more resources are going to be devoted towards developing the hardware and the software needed to accommodate that use case. So I'm not worried about it. It's only, economic central planners or people that don't have an understanding of economics that worry about, we're going to run out of coffee tomorrow because everybody's going to drink all the coffee. But no, if people start drinking a bunch of coffee and the price of coffee starts to go up, farmers are going to say, oh, I can earn more money growing coffee beans than I can earn growing corn. So they're going to change their cornfields into coffee bean fields, or I don't even know what a coffee plant looks like, but whatever it is used to make coffee beans. And they're going to increase the supply of coffee beans so people can have more coffee, and maybe the price of corn will go up a little bit, but that'll push the price of coffee down and it'll all come to an equilibrium. So what's the right amount of block space to be produced? I don't know. Nobody knows. The market is what can figure out, with all these millions of people and interactors, all over the world working together. That's what can decide it. So am I worried about the blocks getting too big on Bitcoin Cash? No. The market will figure out what the right amount of block space to have is. Whereas on BTC, there's literally a production quota imposed by a bunch of central planners that use censorship and propaganda to do so. You're guaranteed to have a bad outcome, just like any other place in the market where you have production quotas. Production quotas lead to economically inefficient outcomes, and that's exactly what we saw happen on BTC.
I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, there's so much about crypto that's still in largely experimental phases, whether it be from the technology to the actual long-term economics of it. And we've only seen Bitcoin running for 10 years now. I mean, let's try and fast forward 50 or 100 years and the economics of where we might be with whether it be any of the cryptocurrencies, let's just say, is impossible for any of us to predict because there's so many things that are going to happen along that road in terms of new technological implementations, market demands, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think I am honestly happy that Bitcoin Cash exists because it's another level of technological experimentation. Because if we only had, BTC and that was the only option for the long-term longevity of the economic question, like we actually need to prove the economics long term, and that's where alternatives really become so important because we're literally running these economic experiments, right? And the proof will be in the pudding. In 10 or 20
That's right.
years, we'll see where it is and the winner will be the winner, right? Versus trying to say, well, let's plan for a situation that we can't really predict because there's so many extenuating circumstances in the market and technologically that we just can't see around that corner.
That's right. Very, very well put. And I guess we should point out this isn't, Trump versus Hillary or, whatever other politicians are being elected. It's the market, right? It's Nike, Reebok, Adidas, whatever other shoe brands are out there. Cryptocurrencies, you get to choose and you get to use all of them. You're not locked into one. It's
Mm-hmm.
not either or. Use all of them, right? Like look at all these, multi-coin wallets out there where you can have, 100 different cryptocurrencies and tokens and whatnot. Use them and figure out the ones that are the most useful to you, and use the ones that are useful for you and ignore the ones that aren't useful for you. Like this isn't one size fits all. This is the beautiful beauty of the market.
That's right. And I think in a lot of ways it's so revolutionary, the idea of having multiple cryptocurrencies, because people are used to living in a walled monetary garden. You live in the United States, you have to use the US dollar. You live in Europe, you have to use the euro. The idea of having, wait, I could have 10 different currencies in my wallet, so
And
maybe
trade
I'm,
back and forth, and
that's
yeah, and
right.
choose which one to use on each day of the week. Yeah, what a
That's right.
wonderful
Hey, Bitcoin Cash is
thing.
up 10% today, so I'm going to use that to pay for my coffee instead of Ethereum, which is down 5% today.
Exactly.
Choice, power. It's really amazing. Now, I want to jump into some of the technological things that have been going on over at Bitcoin Cash. So, Avalanche. You guys are looking at the Avalanche protocol as a future technological implementation. What is it, and why is this being looked at?
So I'm probably not the best person to talk about that. So, but basically, the idea, like, it kind of works like a game of Othello, right? Where you have to have the same color token. There's the one next to you. So all the nodes look at a particular transaction and it queries the other nodes. Do you see this one? And they say yes, or they say no. And you flip to be whatever the ones around you are seeing. And within literally 2, maybe 3 seconds, you can get all the nodes on the entire network in agreement as to which transaction is going to be included in that block. So you can have like a pre-consensus or a good enough agreement on which transaction is going to be in the block. Right now, it's a little bit less than 3 seconds. They think they can get it less than a second, which means you're going to be able to use Bitcoin Cash for payments for anything and have it be basically plenty good enough for anything in less than a second. And that's really, really, really fantastic for anybody that wants to use it as digital cash. And it doesn't change the proof of work aspect at all. All the miners are still doing their SHA-256 hashing, and all the transactions will be included in the block. It's just the miners telling everybody else, including the public that's trying to use it in commerce, which transactions they're going to include in their blocks before they include them in the block. So it makes you be able to feel even more safe once you've received a transaction, that you'll be able to keep it, and it's not going to get double spent on you, unlike on BTC where they have this thing called replace by fee, which means at any point up until a block is found on BTC, they can reverse that transaction or send it to somebody else or do something else. So it's a very, very difference in mindset. And I guess the difference is the Bitcoin Cash camp sees the safety of transactions as a sliding scale between totally safe and not safe at all. And we want to move the needle as close to the totally safe side as we possibly can. Whereas I think a lot of the BTC developers just see it as a binary option. Either it's safe or it's not. And if it's not safe, then don't even worry about trying to make it safe. And so I think that's the real big difference between the vision there. And so short answer is Avalanche makes Bitcoin Cash transactions even faster, even safer, even cheaper, not even cheaper, but even more reliable than they already are. So
Very, very cool. Now, another thing that's coming is the token economy on Bitcoin Cash. So obviously, being able to launch tokens, we've seen this recently on BTC, where we're looking at like Rootstock, for example, is going to be able to bring in this kind of idea of bringing in the token economy. But this is going to be coming straight, not on a side chain, but straight onto Bitcoin Cash. So is this basically what we could imagine as like seeing smart contracts and things like this as we see on Ethereum, or is this going to be some kind of a more basic token platform?
No, it's tokens and smart contracting are both available here on Bitcoin Cash, and in fact, it's available right now today. Any of the people that are watching this video, if they go to badger.bitcoin.com, you can download the Badger wallet, and if you post your simple ledger address in the comments of this video, once it's online, I'll come back and I'll send you guys all some Bitcoin Cash tokens. They're not valuable yet, but people are going to start building tokens that are valuable on the network, and you can see for yourself just how fast, cheap, and reliable the tokens on the Bitcoin Cash network are. Much, much, much cheaper than any of these other token platforms at this point. So, and it's free. So all you have to do is get the Badger wallet, post your Badger wallet address in the comments below, and I'll send you some free Nakamoto tokens on the Bitcoin Cash network, and you can see for yourself. And then the Bitcoin.com main wallet, we have, over 3.5 million wallets created on the, over 3.6 now, actually. And I think we onboard more people every single day to that wallet than have ever been onboarded ever in the history of the Lightning Network. So you hear a lot of buzz online about the Lightning Network, but literally we're onboarding more people to Bitcoin Cash in a single day than have ever been onboarded onto the Lightning Network ever. But we'll have token support in the main Bitcoin.com wallet here coming up shortly as well. We're busy working on that as well. And so you boom, instantly overnight, you'll have millions of people with the ability to send and receive Bitcoin Cash-based tokens. We're already seeing the first couple of ICOs using Bitcoin Cash-based tokens, and there's a couple more that are in the works here as well. So there's lots and lots of fun, exciting, useful things happening on Bitcoin Cash. And if you're mad that things are happening on Bitcoin Cash, you should ask yourself why. If things are useful, people should use it. And if you're sad or angry that people are doing it on Bitcoin Cash, we'll build something even better than Bitcoin Cash that's even more useful to people and convince people that your product is more useful and get them to use that. And I'll cheer you on for doing it, because competition in the market leads to better quality products at a better price that are more useful to more people around the world. So I look forward to competition improving the world. So and right now I'm really excited with how useful Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Cash based tokens are. And again, if you haven't tried it, go to badger.bitcoin.com, post your Badger wallet address in the comments, and I'll send you some free Nakamoto tokens on Bitcoin Cash.
It's really, when we look at it, protectionism doesn't lead to innovation, right? You protect industries that are not innovating, whatever it might be. Innovation is great.
Not only does it not lead to innovation, it literally retards the entire world's rate of economic growth and prevents everybody from being as well off as they otherwise would have been. So you're literally retarding all of human progress across the entire world. You're slowing the rate of the improvement of the human condition. So protectionism is horrible for everybody. You're literally hurting all of humankind if you're advocating protectionism.
There you go. Now on Bitcoin.com, so you guys offer BCH and BTC wallets, right?
Yep.
So both of those. So that's cool. And basically, I think with Lightning Network, you guys are onboarding more people for wallets over at Bitcoin.com, but I think Lightning Network right now is in this really nascent kind of phase, and again, in terms of the long-term economic experiment of the Lightning Network, we can't see around that corner yet, but it is really just at its very baby steps at the moment. So we'll see in a year or 5 years' time how the economics of the Lightning Network play out in reality. And I think that's the important thing. I look at the Lightning Network and I think, well, this could be very interesting in terms of that layer 2 solution. But at the same time, I look at, well, on-chain transactions are not a bad thing either. And
they work pretty well too.
Let's see how it plays out. Right. So,
yeah. And a lot of people love to say that I hate the Lightning Network or something. I don't. I hope it works. I hope it works amazingly well and allows people to be able to send and receive money with anyone, anywhere in the world instantly without needing permission. But that last part of not needing permission is a really, really important thing. And right now, if I wanted to onboard you to, Bitcoin Cash or Dash or Ethereum or any of these on-chain coins, I can do it. If you've never used cryptocurrency in your entire life, I could do it right now with a video chat. I could pull out my phone and send you some, and you would have it right there. And we could literally, it would take longer for you to download the app on your phone than it would for me to send you the money. And you would literally have the private keys for that money, and you would have it yourself. If we wanted to do the same thing with Lightning Network, it would probably take about 24 hours to do it. So an onboarding process of 30 seconds versus 24 hours, talk about, which one is more useful to you. I would rather see people onboarded in 30 seconds than in 24 hours. Like, you can have custodial Lightning wallets that you can use right away, but how is a custodial Lightning wallet any different than a custodial PayPal wallet? And in my book, it's not. So,
Well, that's the thing.
That's not the bash on PayPal. If it's useful, use it. But
that's right. If it's useful, use it. Well, I mean, I could, you could download on a wallet of Satoshi or something right now. I could send you some Satoshis via the Lightning Network, but the difference would be that it's not on chain, and you don't have the private keys to
and
that Bitcoin.
You're actually not sending this Lightning payment to me. You're sending it to whoever's running this wallet of Satoshi servers. They could freeze my account or block me or control my money at any time, just like PayPal. And I wish the wallet of Satoshi guys good luck, and I hope they make a really useful product to the world. But don't pretend that it's permissionless peer-to-peer cash for the world in the same way that something like any SPD wallet is, or the Bitcoin.com wallet. So
I think it'll be interesting too that again, we talk about the economic picture long term, right? With Lightning Network, well, maybe we only need to see, I can have some sats sitting in my Lightning wallet, and I can go and pay for a coffee or something, but I'm not going to send somebody $10,000 using the Lightning Network. I'll do that on chain, right? So it doesn't erase the on chain necessity, but again, with other blockchains, you remove that question at all, right? You just, everything's on chain.
I guess the big question I have for people out there too, like if you're using custodial Lightning wallets, and a wallet, I don't even think is the right word for a custodial service like that, how is that better than PayPal, or how is that different than PayPal? And as far as I can tell, it's not. Like, why not just use a centralized database if you're just going to use some sort of custodial service for you?
Like I said, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out in the long term, right? But I want to move on to talking some more Bitcoin Cash stuff here. So, privacy. You guys are exploring some different privacy implementations at the moment. I know that Mimblewimble, for example, has got a lot of press recently. It looks like the guys at Litecoin will be implementing some kind of a Mimblewimble implementation. Obviously, ZK Snarks have gone over to be working with the guys at Ethereum. So what is your privacy implementation that you're working on at Bitcoin Cash, and why do you think it's better, or a better fit for Bitcoin Cash than some of the others?
I don't know if it's a better solution or better fit, but it's ready right now today. You can go on over to cashshuffle.com and you can download the client, and you can make transactions that once the size of the data set of the people that are doing the shuffling gets big enough, like the privacy can be just about as strong as things like Monero or Zcash as well, on Bitcoin Cash right now today from cashshuffle.com. Like, that's a big deal. And we're integrating this directly into the Bitcoin.com wallet as well, where we're just instantly going to have these 3.5 million users with a really, really strong permissionless privacy built right there into their wallet. Like, that sounds really, really useful to me. So you're going to be able to send and receive any amount of money with anyone anywhere in the world instantly, basically for free, privately. That's a big deal, and I'm excited about that. And if it's useful, I think people are going to use it. And to me, that sure sounds really, really useful.
Yeah, and I think with privacy too, we get very overly technical on the whole thing sometimes, and it's a question of how much privacy do you need, right? And for many people, just having a pseudo-anonymous Bitcoin address with the alphanumeric code, that's enough, right? For some people, they'll want a little more. For some people, they'll want the
market can provide a spectrum for everybody with the different amounts of privacy they want.
Exactly. All right, let me see here. What else we got? Right. So we see it's on the Bitcoin.com, or is it the Bitcoin Cash? I think it's the Bitcoin Cash website, actually, that the mankind scale of payments, so 50 transactions per person per day for 10 billion humans. To have that kind of transaction volume, what kind of upgrades will need to happen to Bitcoin Cash to see that kind of, 500 billion transactions a day or something like that? How much bigger will the blocks need to get? Do you think that the current technological implementations of Bitcoin Cash are going to be enough to handle that? What about the size of the blockchain, et cetera, et cetera? Can we meet that goal of 50 transactions a day for 10 billion people?
Yeah, we can meet that goal, not today, but in the future. Just like this video call that we're having, a few years back, it would have been impossible because there wasn't enough bandwidth to do it and to connect us across the world. It was impossible. I'm old enough. I remember my parents didn't even know what a modem was, but the modem, I was running a bulletin board system, and at all hours of the day and night, the modem would be making all those screeching noises as people were connecting to the computer. I remember it would take, I think 8 minutes to download a whole megabyte on the 28K modem or something. It's been a long time. I'd have to double check the math there, but like it would literally take forever to just transfer a small file. Whereas now, like, we're streaming back and forth and talking, and what looks like close to HD video quality, that was impossible. And so, like, in the future, we'll be able to do this, and I don't know, super, 8K quality and like, 3D.
We'll have holograms sitting in the rooms together or something. It'll be crazy.
Yeah, so like terabyte blocks today aren't particularly practical, but they're going to be, right? Moore's law continues year after year after year. Things are getting better, faster, and cheaper. And then the software is improving as well. They have a bunch of people improving the efficiency of the software, and the hardware is getting more robust as well. So like, you can't do it today, but you can do it tomorrow. And you don't need to do it today. Unfortunately, there's not enough demand for that much, on-chain transactions each day today. But
we don't even have the 10 billion people yet. I won't have that till 2050.
We don't even have the 10 billion people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're thinking about problems that are, down the road. I mean, it's good to plan ahead, right? But again, we're 31 years from now. Where are we going to be 31 years from now? I mean, you and I are both going to be old, and we're going to be sitting there going, see how that technological implementation that Roger and I were talking about 30 years ago worked, or didn't work.
And I actually,
right?
I made a whole video doing the exact math on bringing people into using Bitcoin on chain versus onboarding them to the Lightning Network. It actually happens much faster by over a decade by just scaling the blocks. And, so if you want everybody around the world to be able to use cryptocurrencies, bigger blocks is a faster method than Lightning Network with 1 megabyte blocks. And another fun thing that's happening here in May is that Schnorr signatures are going to be implemented on Bitcoin Cash. So all this Lightning Network stuff will work on Bitcoin Cash as well. So the only thing that I see BTC still having going for it is its giant first mover advantage. But the people that are behind it, I think they don't understand the economic reasons that made it popular to begin with. And we shouldn't underestimate the importance of that giant network effect and the first mover advantage. But with $50 fees on BTC, if that happens again, I think you're going to see a mass exodus of people to other cryptocurrencies, as we've already seen happen to some extent.
That's very true. And this is the one thing that is so important. Okay, we have the Lightning Network, and it allows me to have that layer 2 solution, but at some point you're going to want to cash that channel out and put it in your cold wallet, or not everywhere except.
And I have an example of it on my other phone that's on my desk. Somebody was nice enough to send me a couple cents worth of BTC on the custodial Lightning wallet. Like I hate using the word wallet for custodial services, but anyhow, he sent me a couple of cents worth of BTC. I can't withdraw it. It's stuck. The fees are too high on BTC to actually withdraw it or do anything with it. So whereas, I can send you literally 1 penny worth of Bitcoin Cash right now. You can't do that with BTC. So.
Well, that's the interesting thing is that, I mean, hey, look, we're keep it all in perspective. I mean, you try to go down to the bank and send, money if I were to send you my bank transfer, I mean, it would take half my day and it would cost hundreds of dollars and all this stuff. So yeah, the 3 cents or 4
kind of sounds like full blocks on the BTC network there, right?
So the 3 or 4 cents on, BTC at the moment is different.
It's 30 or 40 cents in fees. And because I only have like 4 cents, it's not even possible to send the 4 cents.
There you go. See, I haven't sent a transaction in a few days. Last time I sent a transaction, I think it was like 3 cents or something like that. But to see it up to 40 cents, I'm not surprised. But the real question is when it gets back to 50, or I think the biggest transaction fee I saw when I was trying to send a transaction was like $93 or something, and I was like. Yeah. Man, I'm just trying to transfer like $20 here, like to like a paper wallet for a giveaway. Like I'm gonna spend $93 to send $20. That's crazy.
You can think of plenty of better things to do with $93.
I know, right? I know. And well, this is again, long-term economic experiments. The technology at the end of the day is going to speak volumes about the actual real-world use of these things. So we're running a lot of experiments in crypto land, and I'm excited that those experiments are being run, and I'm excited about all these different technological implementations that we're doing, because if we only had one thing that anybody was working on, that wouldn't be good. We need lots of technology. We need a competition marketplace of ideas. That's how we're going to get the best technological implementations for, 10 billion people, 20 billion people, 2 centuries from now, whatever it might be, the long game.
That's exactly right. And that's why we see free market economies outperforming, centrally controlled command economies. So the more competition and the more ideas and the more people exploring new things, the better the whole world becomes.
Roger, thank you so much for coming on the show and telling everybody what's been going on at Bitcoin Cash and sharing some of your insights on economics and all these things. I'm sure that a lot of people out there found it very, very useful and interesting. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And get your free Bitcoin Cash tokens by posting your Badger wallet address in the comments below, and I'll personally be sending them to you myself. So
there you go, guys. There you go. Get free tokens. You never know what they might be worth in the future.
badger.bitcoin.com.
There you go. There you go. Thank you so much, Roger.
Thank you, Lark.